Today on MH News, we're showing you some tips on how to legally start your production company. Welcome to MH News, everybody. I'm your host, Matt Haslam. Now, today is very exciting for two reasons. First off, this is the last how-to episode that's going to be here in the studio for a while. Mondays are still going to be here in the studio, but on the Thursday episodes, we're going to be taking you on the road behind the scenes of a couple documentaries and a couple different products that we're actually working on right now. So it's kind of exciting. We're finally going to take you on the road with us for MH News. So that's really exciting for us. The second thing is this past week has been quite possibly the hardest as well as the most rewarding week we've had here in a while. And for us, everything changed this past week, and we're so excited to share with you exactly what happened. Because for years now, since 2001, I've been a freelance agent, and I've been hired on a contract basis for everything. And basically, for the last 2-3 months, I've been researching how to do this legally, and the past month I've been working on it really hard to finally be able to say that I'm a business owner. And I'm so thrilled this is the first episode of MH News that I'm actually able to say that I own a business in the United States. And I'm so excited to be a small business owner and really get this thing going, and just cannot wait for what's to come. So today on MH News, basically I wanted to share some tips that I can pass along on how to start a legal business, legal production company. Now, if you're starting a grocery store or something like that, really this won't apply to you, because basically we're talking about a production company here. We're not talking about a grocery store where there's all different things to worry about. So basically, if you're trying to start another type of business, consult a lawyer or consult another video online about how to do it. But if you're trying to start a business, here in the United States at least, this video is going to help you greatly. If you're in another country or something like that, there's all different laws that you have to worry about, and I highly suggest just contacting your federal government or your local government to see what laws apply to you and how to do it in your country. In the United States at least, a lot of the different laws are the same across different state lines, so that's what we're going to be talking about today. How to start a production company is always difficult, and matter of fact, here in Pennsylvania, they advertise that Pennsylvania makes it easy to start a small business, and after working for 3 months trying to do it, I kind of have to say that that couldn't be farther from the truth. I would hate to see how difficult it would be if they didn't try to make it easy. It's not easy by any means, and it's not easy to be a business owner. Everything about it is a little bit more challenging than just cashing a paycheck at the end of the week and simply doing an W-2 easy form at the end of the year for taxes. Everything is more difficult about it. So we're going to give you some tips on how to help you start this business of yours and grow it from there. So the first thing is to know exactly what you want and have a goal in mind. Know if you want to start a proprietorship, a partnership, an LLC, or a company. Proprietorships are typically the most cost efficient, but they're also the most at risk, because an LLC or a company might be more expensive to start up, but at the end of the day, if someone sues you, they can only come after your business assets. They can't come after your personal assets at an LLC or a company level. So keep all that in mind and know exactly what type of business structure you want to get going with. If you have partners or something like that, then you definitely have to do a partnership or an LLC or something greater than a sole proprietorship, just because there's more than one owner. But the next thing you want to do is have some sort of goal in mind, because you don't want to start a business and think you're going to make $1 million in the first year if that's not realistic. Sometimes that's realistic, but most times it's not. So set yourself a goal of something like maybe $30,000, $40,000 for the year, and just have that as your goal at the end of the year. I mean, if you just sit back and relax and think, I'm a business owner now, I can just sit back and make all this money, it's not going to happen. You have to work towards that goal. And if you don't have a goal in mind, there's nothing to work towards. And if you hit that goal, then up that goal and keep on going. There's no reason to stop just because you hit a certain dollar amount. But if you don't have a dollar amount in mind that you want to make, then there's nothing to base your goal on, and you're not going to work as hard for your business. The next thing to do is go to irs.gov and get an EIN number. If you do this during normal business hours on weekdays, you can get your EIN instantaneously online, and that's so much easier than I thought it was. So get that EIN number. That's going to help you with everything else on this list, and you're going to be able to put that out there to your customers on your website or on your contracts, and it's a sure sign that you're legit, and it gives you so much more credibility than anyone else in this industry. Because in this industry, most of the people you're competing against are people that are hobbyists or that don't really know as much as professionals, and they're just doing this for fun, basically. Putting an EIN number out there definitely showcases that you have credibility, you're a legal business, and you are serious, and you know your stuff. So keep all that in mind. The next thing to do is contact your state Department of Revenue and get a sales tax license. Now, in some states, there's no sales tax, I believe, and with Pennsylvania, at least here, we have a 6% sales tax as of the date of this recording. So there's certain services that are taxable, and there's other services that aren't. If you're starting a grocery store, it's pretty easy to distinguish. Milk and bread aren't taxable, and a candy bar would be sales taxable. But if you're a service business like a production company, it's a little bit harder to tell. For instance, in the state of Pennsylvania, at least, if you're doing a video for a wedding or something like that, it is taxable. But if you take that same equipment, same camera equipment, and film a commercial for a little small business or a car dealership or something, suddenly it's not sales taxable. So even though it's the same gear and the same service, if it's applied in different ways, it's suddenly not taxable or taxable. It depends on what the service actually is and who the customer is. So keep all that in mind. What I suggest is making a list of all of your services and going one by one and figuring out if they're sales taxable or not. For instance, here at Matt Haslam Productions, we have a list of 48 plus different services that we offer, plus merchandise. So all of that needs to be accounted for, and we have a list of all the different services. We went through one by one to see if it's taxable or not, and if we weren't sure, we contacted the State Department of Revenue to figure out their story and figure out exactly if it is or not, and we have documentation behind every one of those answers to make sure that we're not doing things wrong and we're doing things according to what they said to do and their directions. An easy way to get a sales tax license or to get started here is to go to your state website for small businesses. For instance, here in Pennsylvania, it's a website called pabizonline.com. That's pabizonline.com. Typically, your state will have a website similar to this. That way you can do an interview online. It takes about 20 minutes to do once you have the proper format for your computer. So 20 minutes, and you figure out what different permits or licenses you need that are general. Now, if your business has a unique quality that requires some sort of hazmat or special permit, you're going to need to go another route and contact the department directly over a phone call, and they'll be able to help you get contacted with the right people. But in general, this is going to help you if you just have a general business that you just need general permits for. So figure out what things are taxable, what aren't, and go to a website like that, do the interview. It's so much easier than trying to do it all on your own. 5, here is contact local municipality and your county government to see any additional licenses or permits you need. This is vital. Explain to them exactly what you're trying to do, and typically municipalities are the ones that issue business licenses. So figure out if they offer business licenses. Here in my municipality, they don't offer it. My county doesn't offer it, and so I don't actually need one. So all I need is a sales tax license and an EIN number to be a legal business. So contact your local municipality or county government to see exactly what you need. Explain to them if you have customers coming into your office. Explain to them if you are going to have employees. All that makes a difference. I suggest not starting off with employees. For the occasional time you're going to need an extra set of hands, I suggest getting whoever you're planning on hiring to write you a contract from them to you, and you just pay that invoice. At the end of the year, this is going to go on your Schedule C as contract labor, and you're going to basically give them a 1099 if that labor is over $600 in total value. But basically going by contract basis saves you from getting workers' comp insurance and a bunch of other different permits and licenses to have employees, and saves you from issuing W-2s at the end of the year. So it's going to save you a lot of hassle and a lot of money to just do it on a contract basis and have them write a contract for you and you pay it. Basically what happens is if you hire them on a contract basis, then suddenly it's on them to have their own insurance and their own EIN number to be structured and to be a freelance agent. And so it definitely helps you not have workers' comp and all that kind of stuff. But again, I'm not a lawyer, so consult a lawyer in your state to make sure the same structure is correct for your state. On top of that, I don't suggest having your office open to public, because you're going to need a lot more insurance then, you're going to need a lot more permits, and you're going to need to adhere to the fire code and all that kind of stuff for having people in your place of business. Here in Pennsylvania, at least, I know if you have your office open to the public or anybody of your customers come to your place of business, you need to have your place of business accessible with handicap. So basically, if you don't have ramps and stuff like that to get in, then suddenly you have a lot of different laws that are against you, and you're going to get massive fines for it. If you have only a stair step to get into your place of business, it's going to get a lot of backlash on the legal side of things because you aren't handicap accessible. So I suggest for the occasional time you're going to need to meet with a customer, just go to a local restaurant and buy them lunch. It's a lot cheaper than having them come to your place of business and having to get the massively over expensive insurance. The next thing to do is get a bank account for your business. That way, if people write a check out to your production company, you don't have a problem with cashing it. For years now, I've always had this problem, and people write me a check to Matt Haslam Productions, and I couldn't cash it. So have that structure there to allow customers write out to your legal business name. That way you can just cash it at your bank account. The next thing to do is get an accounting program, such as QuickBooks or some other accounting program. And if you want a discount on QuickBooks, you can go to filmriot.com and search for through their videos to find a coupon code, and it will help you out greatly. But get an accounting program, that way you can keep all your finances organized. The next thing to do is allow your customers to pay with credit or debit cards through a program such as Square Reader. They give you a card reader for your phone, so you can charge people anywhere you go. And you can do contracts online, send them to the email address that your customers have. They can pay their bills from at home or their place of business. They don't ever have to actually see you. They can just order online. And you can even sell merchandise that way. So it's all a very fantastic program. It's a lot easier than getting checks or cash all the time. Next is to get liability insurance. It's going to help you out greatly. Believe it or not, if you're on the side of the road and someone driving by gets distracted by seeing a cameraman because they're not used to seeing cameramen in their small town, suddenly they can sue you for getting into an accident or something like that and getting distracted. Even though in every state across the United States, the drivers have to focus on the road, and if you get distracted, it's your fault as the driver. So their case isn't going to hold up in court, but they can still have the right to sue you here in the United States at least. So you want to make sure you're protected with liability insurance. That way it'll take so much burden off of you, and all those sleepless nights are just going to go away, and you're going to be able to focus on your business and not have to worry every single time you go out to a location. Finally, advertise that you're legal, because you don't want to just have an EIN number and not tell your customers about it, not put it out there. So put it on your website that you're legal business, and put your legal business name on your website as well as your EIN number. Put your EIN number on the top of all your contracts, and it's just going to make you look so much more legit. Like I said, EIN numbers give you so much more credibility. Put it out there. Don't be afraid to put that information out there. I wouldn't put insurance information out there or different aspects such as that you use QuickBooks or what programs you use, I would just put out your EIN number because it's just easier. And people don't need to know what insurance company you're with or what accounting program you're using. They don't need to know that, but it helps to know your EIN. Thanks for joining us today. If you have any questions, please consult a lawyer or an accountant to help you in your state. But if you have any questions for us, please email them to questions@mhnews.info and see us back here every Monday and Thursday for brand new episodes. Again, next week we're going to be going on the road for the first time in a very long time here, so please join us for that. Have a good one, people, and see us next time.